Every year in the NFL, it's a new team. As far as goals go, we have one. Putting a f***ing ring on our finger.
Welcome to the Buccaneers Observer Podcast. This is Ralph Phillips.
Hi, Molly Bay.
Man. I don't even know what to say. I'll be honest with you. I don't even want to do this. Oh, I'm not going to say I'm totally depressed, but...
It could have been worse.
Yeah, this is true.
Silver lining. It's only week 1. That's the silver lining. That's all I got.
That's the silver lining right there. We got. Hopefully it'll get better.
Hopefully it'll get better. That was ugly. And to be honest, no market improvement since we signed Tom Brady. Like, really no difference between him and Jameis.
It sure didn't. Well, there was a little bit of a difference, but
the overall numbers. Yeah. So I'm looking at the box score from ESPN, and Tom Brady was 23 for 36 with 239 yards, 2 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, and he got sacked 3 times.
Sacked 3 times.
He was. And his quarterback rating was 78.3 to Drew Brees' 96.5. Ugh. It was just an ugly, ugly showing. Ugly. And the same crap from last year. That's how I felt. Felt like I was just watching the same team from last year.
What was wrong with the team from last year?
The dumb... Are you being serious? Like the dumb penalties, the crap, like the muff punt, just, stuff like that. Just
we
little
again
things that you're like, okay, maybe it wasn't completely fair, but maybe all this stuff comes from Jameis, who has that kind of energy where he's just making dumb decisions, dumb mistakes, and then it just radiates down to the rest of the team. But then you're like, okay, well, it's still here, and Jameis isn't.
Well, he was there. He just wasn't on our team.
Really, Ralph?
So,
like,
I'm trying.
Okay, I know. You're trying. I know.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, and I don't know. It's gonna be tough watching this game film. I'm sure I'll see a lot of stuff.
You like these though, where there's a lot.
I don't like these.
You're a masochist.
When they happen, I don't like them. But I like trying to figure out why it happened.
Yeah, what went wrong? What's really weird is statistically we're not that far off from the Saints. Like passing, we had Tom Brady had 239, which doesn't seem like a lot, but noodle arm Drew Brees only had 160. I mean, he just didn't throw 2 interceptions.
You mean we didn't get 2 interceptions?
Yeah, and he was only sacked 1 time. Ooh, Twitter was so mad at Donovan Smith.
Yeah.
That was the biggest thing.
Well, the one time I saw Scotty Miller ran right into the back of Donovan Smith. It looked like Scotty Miller was running at full speed and ran right into the back of him and knocked him off his blocker. Then another time he just got flat out beat that I saw. So that's what I'm saying. It's going to be interesting looking at the game film to see exactly how bad he was.
I like Scotty Miller. I thought had a good showing, and statistically, he had 5 receptions for 73 yards, and his long was 37. So that was a good improvement. I did see him break 1 tackle, which was an improvement from last year when it's like he got touched and just went down, averse to contact.
Chris Godwin did well.
Yeah, he had 79 yards.
Levante David played well.
Yes, I really think Levante was the unsung hero of this game.
What else is new?
I know.
He's been the unsung hero for
years.
150 years
So
now.
hold on, let me maximize this window so I can get everything. Levante led the team in tackles with 11 total, 7 solo, 2 TFLs, and a quarterback hit. We had 3 quarterback hits, whereas the Saints had 6. That makes me concerned for the offensive line.
Which is what everybody was saying, and we were saying.
I know, and Ralph,
I was saying.
yeah.
Like, no, they'll be fine.
I'm putting this on
Top
you. I'm
10.
not taking.
Most likely top
I'm
5.
not falling on your sword, buddy.
Hey, I did get one prediction right. I said we are not going to go the season without scoring 21 points, and I was sweating it there for a while because we were at 17 in the fourth quarter. I was like, oh, come on.
23-34. You know, a lot of people were mad on Twitter when they went for that touchdown or got that touchdown at the end, that garbage time, that it was just disrespectful. But luckily it got called back.
Yeah. Well, you know.
Lucky for Sean Payton, or else people would have thought he was a dick.
More of a dick.
That's the joke, Ralph.
Yeah, again, and as we said this last year, that we had a really great football team. Nobody could really stop us offensively. It was just we stopped ourselves all the time with Jameis Winston's bad mistakes and all this. And it seems like that's what happened in this game. We just beat ourselves. We were there was in the second quarter. Here's what I wrote down. Okay, at 10:56 in the second quarter, Brady throws an interception because there was some route confusion going on between him and Mike Evans. And then there was a defensive pass interference, and then there was I can't read my own writing.
That's when the beer kicked in.
Yeah.
Or the
something.
rage.
And then Brady was sacked, and then we had the missed field goal that was blocked, and then we had defensive offsides on a 4th and 2.
Just ugly crap, and we started off so well with those first 2 drives. Yeah. Like, the Bucs drive on offense was phenomenal. Like, we just marched right down the field and scored. And then we held them, to I think 1 first down, and then they went 3 and out. But I seem to recall, and somebody fact check me on this, but when we had played them, I think the second time, they had not scored on the first drive like all season. So it seems to me like maybe they go a little vanilla in the beginning just to kind of prod you or lure you into a false sense of confidence. And that's kind of what happened.
Yes. Let me finish going through my list here, though. Anyhow, defensive offsides on 4th and 2 with 2 minutes left in the second quarter. Neutral zone infraction on Ndamukong Suh. After that, then Brady got an intentional grounding, and then Brady's first pass in the third quarter to Ronald Jones was way too high. Then we had a penalty holding on Bucs, Mike Evans, then penalty false start on Donovan Smith, and then an interception pick 6 by Brady. Then penalty pass interference on 24, and then penalty on 78 Wirfs, false start.
I mean, okay, the penalties.
Then we had the Bucs drop the kickoff recovered by Saints. Yeah. That's all just in the second and third quarter.
Yeah. Okay, so the penalties, I know it seemed like a lot, but we had 9 penalties for 103 yards. They had 6 for 119. So while they had less total penalties, they had more penalty yardage.
Yeah, they were getting those pass interference penalties like crazy.
So, it does look ugly from our perspective, but when you really put it into perspective of the game, it's not. I mean, all of our stats were not that far off. The only thing that really killed us was those 3 turnovers. We had a fumble and 2 interceptions.
Yeah, and one of them for a pick 6.
Yeah.
Which you're thinking... The only difference between that and Jameis was he didn't do that on the first play of the game.
I know.
I was like, this looks just like Jameis.
Like, come on.
Weird. I was really disappointed. I ain't gonna lie, I'm very disappointed. But like you said, it's a long season. This is game 1. And oops, had a little visitor there. All right. So, horrible day. That's just horrible.
I mean, underwhelming for sure, disappointing, absolutely. I'm not really sure what the silver lining is other than it's week 1.
Yeah, and let's make some excuses here. They didn't have preseason. These guys haven't had a chance to work together. There we go. We'll use that excuse.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's true. And we saw with the defense last year that it took them a while to gel. Looks like they took a break from gelling today, and maybe they'll show up next week. I mean, they didn't do too bad, but allowing 34 points, that's a little disappointing.
Yeah. Yeah, and again, I think it was more of us just shooting ourselves in the foot.
Yeah.
Just constantly. We're not on the same page. We were not playing disciplined football. Ugh.
No, it was very rusty, I thought. We definitely would have benefited from a preseason. Like, you have a lot of these teams. Most of the teams I saw today did not look as rusty as we did.
No, I know. That's what I was going to say. I was kind of impressed with how everybody played today, considering.
Yeah. Even Atlanta, like we watched Atlanta, the 1:00 game, and they did get like destroyed by Seattle. What was the score? 38-25. So.
Well, did Carolina win?
No, they lost.
Okay. That's what I thought.
So we're all 0-1 in the division except for New Orleans.
They're up a game in the division already.
Which this could really bite us later, but.
Yeah. Well, later we're going to be a powerhouse, unstoppable. So I ain't worried about it.
Gosh, what do you even fix for next week? I mean, where the heck was Mike Evans? I know he was hurt, but he kind of had this issue last year. It was the same thing with him and Jameis. Remember? I mean, he had some games where he didn't even have any receptions. And this week, he had 1 reception for 2 yards. He did have a touchdown.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like, Mike, we can't have that.
We need you out there making them big catches.
Yeah.
Big yardage.
Absolutely. I did like him in...
A couple of the pass interference were on him on big plays. So.
Yeah. And I liked him and Marshawn Lynch getting into that fight early.
You mean?
Who was it?
Lattimore?
Yeah. Yes. Lattimore.
You're thinking of Doritos.
I know. Actually, yeah, we just saw that commercial like 5 minutes ago. It makes me hungry too for Doritos. I totally thought that Mike was going to get called for that one because he pulled off Marshawn Lattimore's helmet. I was like, it's over.
Yeah.
But thankfully, Marshawn Lattimore got
Man, I tell you, those two guys hate each other.
I know.
They really do.
They like get into it. And I think that Mike should have been penalized on that one, but I'm not mad that he didn't.
It should have been offsetting, I think,
Maybe. So, yeah, I think Marshawn Lattimore got the wrong end of that stick.
Oh, God, we're going to have to hear all the media talk about the offensive line tomorrow. And
yeah, I'm curious to see what you see on film with that.
Yeah, me too. And I want to see, our defensive line. It just didn't seem like they got a whole lot of pressure either. Yeah. But like I said, with Drew Brees, if you watch the game. Yeah, I mean, you would have him in the grass and he's going to the ground and he'll throw the ball. Tom Brady did that one time and he got intentional grounding. Drew Brees, when he throws it, though, he is better at throwing it at somebody's feet that can catch the ball. So,
yeah. Well, JPP did get a sack on him.
Yes.
So he's our sack leader.
Shaq Barrett did have a defended pass.
He did.
I saw him going back in coverage a lot.
Did you?
Yeah, about 3 or 4 plays at least. I don't like that. I mean, it's okay to do every now and then, once or twice a game maybe, but
I agree with you. I'm not a fan.
Not a lot of times, but a few times a year we'll have Vita Vea drop back in coverage.
Oh, I hate that.
That is
He
funny.
jumps like 3 inches off the ground.
He jumped today and trying to bat down one of Drew Brees' pass. And Drew Brees doesn't throw the highest passes in the world.
Yeah, he's a tiny little guy.
Yeah, and he still didn't get the pass. He's just he just doesn't jump very high. So, let's see.
One thing I noticed, it was really hard to remember who everybody was. because they all changed. We had like 5 people in the secondary change their numbers. Like
5 out of 7, according to Joe Buck.
Like Carlton Davis isn't 33 anymore. Jordan Whitehead is. So it's like I see 33 and I'm thinking it's Carlton and it's not.
Yeah.
So that was hard to keep track of. Sean Murphy Bunting, I thought he was always 23, but apparently he was 26 last year. So I'm like, that one wasn't too hard to adjust to. But Carlton Davis, he's now 24. And that one, I don't know. You know, I created the mnemonic device. Is that what it's called?
Yes.
In my head. That Revis was 24 and Davis, they kind of sound, you know, they end similarly.
And
so I'm like, yeah, so I can remember that, I think. I'm going to try.
All right. Good luck for you there.
Do my best, I know. And then Whitfield is 31.
Whitfield played good.
Yeah.
He made some plays. Ryan Smith didn't do much on special teams that I saw. That really surprised me. And you didn't hear a lot from the defensive line. It seemed like Vita Vea did not have a good game.
No, I mean, we had that 4th and 2, and then...
Right, that's really the only time I heard his name called.
And he falls for the hard count. Like, you know it's coming.
After a timeout, where you go to the sidelines and the coach say, okay, they're going to try and hard count us here. Don't jump off sides. And Vita Vea lines up a yard off the ball anyhow. So it's like, how do you get off sides?
Come on. And Drew Brees is so good at that.
Yeah.
Like, you know he does it.
You know he's going to do it. Everybody knew he was going to do it.
We just really, I think, needed a preseason. We were the only team, I think.
Well, in that aspect, then, so we can say, well, around week 3 or 4 will be our first game of the season.
Maybe.
Because these are our preseason games now.
Yeah. You know, and I don't really sweat like the first third of the season.
Right.
You know,
yeah.
I find that most NFL teams, their seasons kind of fall into the thirds, and the teams that peak in the first third usually fall off by the end of it, and they're nowhere to be seen. And then if you're doing bad in the first third, like you still have the last 2/3 to get it together. You have time, and often there will be teams that start off slow and then show up late in the season. So I don't sweat the initial slow start.
And plus, let's think about Tom Brady over the past few years. What's happened? The Patriots start off slow, and everybody's like, "Oh, Tom Brady's done."
Yeah,
and then
they
next
lose.
thing you know, they're in the Super Bowl.
Yeah, they lose to teams like the Browns
Or Miami.
or Miami, and you're like, "Oh, they're finally finished," and then they're not.
Yeah, they start slow. Oh, we should have watched the press conference. We jumped onto the podcast before
We did.
press conferences. I bet Tom Brady's not going to be a happy camper.
Ugh.
He'll probably give canned responses, and
Oh yeah, absolutely. But he hates losing.
I bet Arians is going to have quite a bit to say.
Well, it had started by the time we started this podcast, and BA did say the first interception was a miscommunication between Brady and Mike Evans, and then the second one was just a bad decision.
Yeah.
Which the miscommunication issue, like I understand, but God, how many times did we hear that last season?
Right.
And it kind of annoys me because, you know, the receivers should know where they're supposed to be by now.
Well,
so unless it's Brady didn't know where they were supposed to be, I just, you know, I'm not as willing to give the receivers leeway.
Well, with this Eric Coryell system that they don't run standard routes. It's like the receivers don't go out to the 10-yard line and then cut right, you know, where the quarterback knows where the receiver is going to be and the receiver knows where he's supposed to be. It's all dependent on what the defense is doing. They adjust their routes. And so the quarterback and the receiver have to really be on the same page.
Make the same adjustment.
Right. And it looked to me like Brady thought Mike was going to cut in more, and Mike ended up turning around doing like a post. So I don't know. It was miscommunication there, but you don't know which one was right, which one was wrong.
Right. Towards the end of the game, Brady, they did a shot of the sidelines, and he just had this deer in the headlights look.
Yeah, Molly was saying, I wonder if he's thinking he made a bad decision.
I know. He looked like Jameis a lot of times. Like, it was that same
That Jameis
freaking
face.
look. And I'm like, oh, God, not again.
Oh,
And,
my
like,
goodness.
where was Gronk?
Yeah, he had one catch, I think.
Let me look at the stat sheet. He had 2 receptions for 11 yards.
Yes. Man.
The run game I was pretty happy with. I thought
It was
Ronald
all right.
Jones,
Yeah.
didn't do so bad. I thought Leonard Fournette had some good runs, but
Mhm.
per the stat sheet, he had 5 carries for 5 yards, so he averaged 1 yard a carry. But I think he had a 6-yard long. That's his longest, and I think he got stuffed a couple of times,
Yeah.
and so brought down the average.
Yeah, if you would have asked me that, I would have said, yeah, he did pretty good, but that's absolutely horrible.
I know.
Shady McCoy, I think I saw him out there twice.
He had 1 reception for 2 yards.
Wow.
Yeah.
And what was Ronald Jones's stats again?
Okay. He did not do too bad. 17 carries for 66 yards.
What's
So he had an average of 3.9 yards.
it's all right.
I mean, not great, but I mean, he was there. He showed up.
Yeah. And you know what's really horrible about having your whole fantasy football team tied to your your favorite team is
What's
when
that?
you lose the
Oof.
game, you also lose in fantasy,
Lose
and
in
it's just a
fantasy.
double whammy.
You didn't really think that one through, did you?
Yeah, I thought it through.
Okay.
I don't care. I'm die hard, man. I'm going all in, putting my money where my mouth is. Whole $5.
Bucs fans, I do have good news. Is that I'm a jinx when it comes to my first round pick in fantasy, and you won't believe who I picked in the first round.
Michael Thomas.
Michael Thomas.
Yeah, I think he'll
He
be fine.
had 3 receptions for 17 yards.
Yeah, you got to hand it to our secondary. I thought they played very well. They stuck to their guys. You didn't see a whole lot of wide open guys out there. There was that one on that trick play in the fourth quarter that they did, where they threw it back to number 7 was their second string quarterback, Tyson Hill. And, he threw it's kind of like a flea flicker type play. They always got some tricky plays in there, which is something that New England always does too. They always have tricky plays. But we didn't do too many tricky plays today, at least none that were successful that I recall. And I like tricky plays. I like throwing a wrench in every now and then. Just keep defense honest. The Patriots.
Although we did not have, we didn't see any Jameis. I thought there would be.
What, like?
In the game. I thought they'd throw him in for a play or two.
They didn't. He wasn't even out there on the coin toss, I don't think.
No. I did see him one shot on the broadcast,
Yeah,
I think,
on
on
the
the sideline with a tablet.
Yeah. But the Patriots with Cam Newton today, they ended up winning.
It's Miami.
It's Miami.
Like, get
It
outta
was
here.
kind of a tough game.
It was not Fitzmagic that appeared. It was Fitztragic.
Fitztragic showed up today. And, so now, the whole people are going to be saying, well, it looks like Bill Belichick was the reason why Tom Brady was, won all those rings. But again, it's a long season.
Okay, what do we have to clean up before now and next week? Which we face the Carolina Panthers next week.
Man, we got to beat the Panthers. Seriously, the Panthers are crap.
I know.
I mean, they're a totally new team with a new coach and everything, and the only thing got is
half
Christian
of their
McCaffrey.
defense are rookies.
Yeah, and they weren't out there tackling for crap.
No.
We were tackling pretty good today. We started off tackling really good, that's for sure. Whitehead and Winfield both had great tackles the first couple plays, and then Devontae David and Devin White had great tackles after that. So, we just we were making crucial mistakes, man. Crucial mistakes.
And I think you got to give credit to the Saints too. I mean, they're a good team. No,
not going to do it.
Okay,
not going to do it. I wasn't impressed with them. Didn't do anything.
I don't know. They're doing the same stuff they did last year.
I don't know, man. Don't know. Scotty Miller was catching some balls. That's good.
We got that going for us.
Yep. Yeah, so we got like 3 legit receivers now, man. Justin Watson was out there. He had a couple of passes.
Oh no,
caught.
he had 1 reception, 6 yards. 2 targets though.
6 yards. How much is he getting paid?
I don't know.
Do you ever do that? You ever look at these guys? You know, they're making $2 million a year, and you go, "Oh man, they're not making anything." And then you look and you see they make 1 catch a game. You're like, "Well, I would do that for sure. $2 million a year to catch 16 balls a year.
That's crazy."
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so here's a silver lining. They had 82 yards total rushing. We had 86 to be fair, but we were in
We beat them in rushing.
We were a little different circumstances. Latavius Murray had 48 yards. He was their leading rusher. And then Alvin Kamara only had 16 yards rushing.
Wow. How much did he have receiving?
He had 51.
Yeah.
So he did pretty good receiving, but not so much rushing. Their leading receiver was tight end Jared Cook, which is what we saw last year.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
We got burned by tight ends last year too.
Oh no, man! Were the linebackers screwing up again? That's going to be so disappointing.
Yeah, I mean the receivers. I mean, Michael Thomas had 17 yards. Emmanuel Sanders had 15. Deontay Harris had 17. And then their 2 leading receivers, Alvin Kamara had 51 and Jared Cook had 80. So that was 130 yards of their 198.
Wow.
Between those 2.
Wow.
Which that makes sense if you're getting burned in the middle of the field. You know, you check down to the running back or the tight end.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I don't know. The game film was going to be very, very interesting. I want to check out Tristan Wirfs. I watched him a little bit.
Yeah, I didn't think he did too bad.
Yeah, he had one play where he screwed up, I saw. Yeah.
There were so many mistakes that he didn't have any that were really glaring to me.
Yeah, you know, I saw just about everybody making mistakes. I saw Ali Marpet make mistakes. I saw Donovan Smith make mistakes.
I think Kappa, a guy got thrown on Kappa.
Yeah, saw Kappa make mistakes.
Yeah.
You know, just Tom Brady, he made mistakes.
Yeah. We got a field goal blocked. Or was that the extra point?
That was a field goal.
It was a field goal.
Yeah.
Hold on.
Yeah, guy came right up to the middle.
Yep. So that at that point in the game, that's kind of where it started going downhill. Was that block field goal? Because it was early.
Yeah.
You know, we had gotten off to a fast start
Yeah.
by marching down the field and scoring on that initial play.
Yeah, we did real good in the first quarter and real good in the third quarter, but then, you know, I mean, at one point in the third quarter, I think going into the fourth quarter, they had 6 total yards on offense in that quarter. You know, so we were doing all right, but we can't have these fits and spurts where we play well and then we don't play well. And then we play well, we don't play well. You know, we got to be more consistent.
Yeah, through the whole game. Play the whole game.
And maybe Jameis Winston wasn't that bad.
Maybe Jameis Winston's not the problem.
Maybe he wasn't the problem. Oh, no.
I don't know. Then at that point, it's like it's either the rest of the team is the problem or the coaching staff is the problem.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, we just need to see improvement next week.
Yeah, I think we will. This is a one-off. This is these guys, the New Orleans Saints, have been playing together for years. Mm-hmm. We got a whole new quarterback and plus extra players. So, you know, there's.
I mean, I'm not thrilled by this, but I'm not.
Either.
The sky isn't falling.
I am just so. I am like my hopes are. I fully expect us to go to the Super Bowl and win it. Okay, it wouldn't shock me. It wouldn't be surprising. That's what I expect. Now, if we don't make it to the playoffs, I'm going to say I don't know crap about football.
Okay, just do not promise to follow through. Don't promise any bets or anything that you can't follow through on. Like I watched one YouTube channel where they were like, I will eat my shorts if this happens, and then sure enough, it happened.
Can you do that? Can you eat your shorts?
No, you can't eat your shorts. But see, that's what I'm saying. Don't make any
Oh,
declarative
so you want me to do
statements
something that you want to, I'll
that
be
you
able
can
to
do. Yeah.
You
I don't
want- you
know,
wanna
like
watch me
shave
do
your head
something.
or something.
You want me to
Like
shave my
your-
head?
No, not
What's wrong with
really.
you?
You never know if your head's like super lumpy or something.
I've shaved my head before.
You have?
Yeah.
Is your head
military.
lumpy?
No, I think it was fine.
Okay.
Yeah. Boot camp, man. Shave your head. And then, you're talking about like completely shaved.
Yeah.
No, yeah. For years, me and you were together, I shaved my head, but not all the way
That was
down.
like a buzz.
Yeah. Like a
You
buzz.
still got enough to cover any lumps in case you're lumpy.
Okay.
Yeah.
I got you. Never thought about that. Do I have a lumpy head?
I don't know.
Hmm.
You never know until you shave your head.
Yeah. Well, hopefully I'll never know.
Yeah, we're not going to try it.
So around the league, we had, decent football. I don't know. It did,
Ooh, the Bears and the
Bears, that was a
Detroit
good
game.
Yeah, they came
Okay.
back, and I'm sitting there
So-
going, "This is so Detroit."
Yeah. So we looked over, I think it might have been the third quarter, and it was like 6-23. Detroit had this massive lead on the Bears.
That was the fourth quarter.
And then the Bears come back and win. And Ralph goes, that is the most Detroit football I've ever seen.
Yeah, it's just poor Detroit, man. I used to like playing them when we were in the NFC.
The black and blue division?
The black, yes, and because they were just a tough team. I like they were tough. Everybody in that division was tough, but they were just more of a in your face kind of violent team, and I like that. And they're still kind of that way, but I don't know. They just can't ever do anything. I think they've been to the playoffs once. It's like everybody knocks the Bucs because we've been playoff drought for so long. But then I look at teams like Detroit, and I'm like, but they've been once in the past 20 years.
Yeah.
So that doesn't mean anything.
Right.
I'd rather be the Bucs and the Lions, or
That's
the
true.
Browns, or Miami,
Or the Jags.
or Jack. They won today,
Against Indianapolis, a division opponent.
right? Against
Phillip
Rivers.
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah.
And again, there's another case of the guys haven't played with
Yeah.
his teammates before.
Yeah.
So there we go. Now we've got a precedent. We've got an excuse. Everybody.
We're going to ignore all the other teams where they won today with a new quarterback.
Who was that? Haskins?
The Patriots.
Oh, what? Oh, why do you have to go there and say that?
Why do you hate Cam Newton so much? You will hate him forever.
I don't hate him.
You take pleasure in his misery.
Is that the definition of hate? Then yeah, I hate him. Good Lord. I have dreamed about somebody knocking his teeth out for years. That's a horrible thing to say.
I know. He has the most beautiful white teeth
you're not
and
supposed to have
straight.
pretty white, straight teeth
And
as a
he
football
chews
player.
gum. That is
gum
what annoys me.
while he plays football.
Chews gum while he plays football
It
and
just
no
ain't
mouth
right.
guard.
Still gum chewing in football.
And you're like, how have you not lost a tooth?
I don't know.
There's no justice in the universe. The world is not fair.
Oh my goodness. Yeah. So horrible performance.
Awful showing.
Awful showing. Bruce Arians deserves a lot of crapping on for this one. His team was not ready. Not ready. That's just, you don't make those type of penalties in those situations and throw those interceptions and those pick sixes and people are on the wrong pages and you got Scotty Miller running in the back of Donovan Smith and knocking him off a block. And, it was Keystone Cop football a little bit out there.
How many times did we see that last season? I'm tired of that.
A lot.
Tired
Who
of
was it we watched today and they ran right into each other?
I think the Redskins
Might have been
or
Redskins.
Washington.
Yeah, that was
The
funny.
footballers.
The footballers. Molly brought up a good point that you should try to get some of that merchandise because they're only going to be around for a year.
Mm-hmm.
They'll probably be collector's items. I never thought about it. I was like, that's the dumbest looking logo, which is a big W in a red box.
Yeah, it'll be something you can give to your kids, and then like in 80 years, it'll be a really rare, like weird, obscure collectible.
Yeah.
Just a thought. If you want to hang on to it that long.
That's right. It's the Bitcoin of the future. Buy in now. Buy low. All right, we're going to make this a short one tonight.
Because we're depressed and want to go drink some
yes,
more.
we're going to go get extremely more drunk. That was that. Yeah, a lot of it was because our expectations were so high.
It was high, yeah.
And it wasn't a
There's
competitive
something
game.
to be said for low expectations.
And it wasn't, I didn't feel like we were out there crapping on the field all the time. And it didn't really even seem like a competitive game in the sense that, I didn't feel like they whooped our butt. Again, it was us shooting ourselves in the foot constantly. Like that muffed kickoff. It was like, good teams, Super Bowl teams, playoff teams, they don't do crap like that.
Yeah.
And that's coach. That's coaching.
Yeah. Get it together.
Yeah.
Seriously.
Get it together, man. Seriously. All right, we're going to do this. It's a short one. We would give you our contact information to say get in contact with you, but we don't want to talk to anybody right now.
We're going to go crawl into a hole for a few days. A little depression.
That's what happens. That's when you're a cheerleader like we are. Hey, we admit it. We're fans. We're all about
unapologetic homers.
Unapologetic homers.
Told us
this is the downside of it. If you're one of the media guys who have no connection to the fans, you're walking around strutting your stuff saying, well, I knew that the Buccaneers were going to suck or whatever, So they have an advantage on us on all this stuff.
Their expectations are so low.
Very, very low. All right. You got anything else to say?
I do not. Other than Ralph, I hope watching the film and our next podcast, you will have worked through all this and we can.
I always do. It always does.
I know.
I'll
I'll
watch it.
It's like a process.
Mm-hmm.
You got to work through it.
It's watching the game film is completely objective. When I watch the game on Sundays, I am completely subjective, man. I mean, it's like I take everything personally.
Yeah.
What they wear, even,
Okay, can we talk about the white jerseys? I hate them.
See, there you go.
I hate them so much.
I know you were talking about
like
the whole
immediately. I was like, oh, they look so, and like they showed Tom on the field, and I'm just like, it's not a good look.
Yeah, it looks like long johns.
Yes,
and
wear the red jerseys.
Right.
Like if you're not gonna wear the pewter ones, which are friggin' awesome,
Mm-hmm.
like swap out. I don't want to see the white jerseys 9 times. Like. Give me the red ones.
Yes.
Like I'll compromise. I would much rather the pewter ones, but fine. Just the red or the white ones are awful.
Yeah. And we're doing those 9 times. That's ridiculous. Hopefully we'll switch it up and do like red pants or something.
I don't know.
With the white jerseys.
It was just, they were awful.
Yeah, I just don't like that. So we take it personally, as you can tell. But watching the game film is much more objective, and I feel like I understand things a little bit better. So we'll find out Wednesday in the next podcast. I'll have a breakdown of the game film. Let you know what I saw. There will be a video out most likely. I try to do the game film on the same day that we do the Wednesday podcast. So there should be a video out on Wednesday. This year I'm going to try to do a player. The player of the game, basically, or who was like the most outstanding, either good or bad, whatever. And then also I'm going to continue doing the things I found interesting video series. So be on the lookout for that Wednesday. Keep your chin up. Don't get too depressed, guys. We waited a long time for this. It's here. We got to deal with the losses. They're going to come. But this is the last one we're getting, so there's that. We've got over that hump.
There we go.
Yes. All right. Till next time.
We'll be back tomorrow with a news video.
Yes.
So we'll see you then.
Yes. We'll see you tomorrow.
And until then, go Bucs.